Okay, so cognitive developments is referring to the progressive developments of thought processes and mental processes. So this the cognitive developments is referring to the progressive developments of thought processes and mental processes. So cognitive development also integrate with emotional, social, and moral developments of people because of relationship between intellectual and non-intellectual characteristics of social cognitive process. So cognitive development integrates. I put in this slide so that it's easier for us to understand. So cognitive developments integrate emotions, moral, and also social. Cognitive is not just about mental developments, but it's also involve emotions, involve social relationship with other peoples, and also moral right or wrong. And developments of intelligence are normally reach its peaks at the age of 20s or 30s and decline after the age of 45. So after the age of 45, that's why we can see that those are reaching at this age, they tend to have slower mental processes. Maybe they're not as fast as previously. So at this age also they may experience difficulties to learn something new. That's why when there are some all the students in the class, all the at the age of 50 and 60, when they were in the same age as the younger students, younger classmates, they will tend to have a little bit of problem in understanding some new topics compared to the younger students, because younger students around 20s, early 20s age, they at the peak of their intelligence. That's why they could understand perhaps a new knowledge better than those who are after 40 years of age. And cognitive development also importance in motivation, perception, learning, memory, judgment, reasoning, problem solving, and so on. And there are theories regarding cognitive developments from Piaget and Say theories on adapt thinking, and the other theories by Sternberg and Kohlberg on moral developments. They call it information processing theories. So Piaget theories of cognitive development. Piaget come with the 4 stages of cognitive developments. The first stage is sensory motor stage, second pre-operational stage, third concrete operational stage, and last or the fourth is formal operational stage. So at the first stage, this is where the baby age is 0 to 2 years old. At this age, the baby try to interact with the world. Actually, the baby want to actually this is how baby learns some things. They learn through playing with the toys. So actually it's not just playing, actually they explore the environment. So this is actually a learning process for the babies. So at the age of 2 to 6 or 2 to 7, this stage is called pre-operational stage, where the children begins to represent the whole world symbolically. So that's why you see children at the age of these 2 to 6 and 7, they like to act what they watch the roles that they watch on TV, because they want to represent the world symbolically by acting the role, whatever roles that they want to play. They think it's interesting because they are looking for the identity. So at the age of 7 to 12, it's called concrete operational stage, where the child or the kids learns the rules. What's actually the rules? That's why when they play, play some things, or when they with friends, they have some rule that they set, because at this age, at this stage, children learns the rules such as conservations and so on. At the last stage or the fourth stage is a formal operation stage where the age is 12 until adulthood. So the adolescent, normally 12 years old, is fall under the adolescent stage. The adolescents can transcend the concrete situations and start to think about the future. So they just not think about the concrete situations. Instead, they also start to think about the future. So at this age, individuals start to think about the future. Here, maybe they just want to check about the rules here to play, to act, but here they start thinking about more about the reality of the life. So I put in this circle in order for you to easy to understand the keywords. So at sensory stage, the keyword is to interact with the environments. Second stage, to represent the world symbolically. The third one is regarding learning the rules. The fourth one is thinking about the future. So Piaget, according to the Piaget, cognitions in all children develops in the predictable and progressive paces through maturations and learning. Of course, you can predict that the children's actually develop from the stages that easily to be predict, because at that 1 to 2 years old, 0 to 2 years old, they normally play with the toys. They actually playing the toys, they actually learning, so explore the environments. So at the second stage, then you can see that children's at that age, they tend to act. That's why they sometimes you can observe them talking to themselves alone, and maybe with the toys, with the dolls, because they try to act to represent the world symbolically. So you can predict their behavior at that age. So during the phases, cognitive process and emotional experience also also happens among the individuals, and these form the categories of informations or schematics. So basically, cognitive processes and emotional experience that influenced by the individual or by the children's form their cognitive structure or schematics. So new information that they learn, they will tend to form their own schematics or cognitive structures. And as the thought become complex, so with the increase of the age, the brains or the cognition also develops. So the thought process become more complex, and people ability to adapt to the environment also increase, and the ability to organize the informations are also improve and progress through mechanism called assimilations and accommodations. So assimilations focusing more on the quantitative, and accommodations focusing more on the qualitative. So this is qualitative, focusing more on the contents. This one focusing more on the numbers, the increasing in numbers. So assimilations in new informations and experience that they learn while they are growing up, new informations experience they are receiving will be integrated with the existing mental processes that they already have. Here, cognitive processes, when they growing up, cognitive processes actually change to handle new experience. So while growing up, they may experience something new. So cognitive process also change to handle to deal with the experience or new information that they learn. Here, assimilations happen without mental structure changing, but here is this changing in the mental structure, where their cognitive process also change to handle new informations. So cognitive adaptations is influenced by integrations of various thought processes and by balancing assimilations and accommodations. So as you can see, our cognitions is adaptable. So we be able to adapt our cognitions the integrations of thoughts and processes by balancing between assimilations and accommodations. We could be able to balance in order to us to adapt more in terms of our thinking. The importance of contributions of Piaget is in terms of adult thinking. So definitions of adult thinking is a thinking patterns that progressively develops from very concrete patterns to complex and abstract patterns. So I mentioned in the beginning that concrete patterns of thinking is the patterns of thinking is very clear. If you see the for example the pictures of the flowers, you can tell directly that's the flowers, that's not the animal. So you can differentiate between one thing with the other if you have we have concrete thinking. Complex when they are when there are so many things need to be dealt with, that's involve complex. So thinking can be complex when the problem is not really straightforward. Here the problem is really straightforward, so individual be able to learn, be able to understand faster. But complex talks is kind of not very clear. Abstract is even difficult to identify because abstract there's no specific features that can obviously explain or be interpreted. So very concrete is very clear cut. You can see, you can differentiate. Complex is become a little bit blur. You maybe do not know because of complex interactions between many different things. Abstract is even obscure. That means it's very difficult to determine because of the invisibility of the patterns. So say it come with the 5 stages. Adult thinking developed in different progressive stages. So say Piaget adult thinking, say theory come with the 5 stages: acquisition stages, achieving stages, responsibility stages, executive stages, and reintegration stages. So acquisition stages consist of 2 levels: children's adolescence and childhood and adolescence, and formal operation stage. At the childhood and adolescence, these are referring to the acquired stage, where individual at this stage, childhood and adolescence, they start to acquire more complex way of thinking. So at this stage they acquire, that's why it said acquirization stage, because they acquire more complex way of thinking. And the formal operation stage, they represent the highest level if we're referring to the Piaget, these parts, so it's the highest. And achieving stage is our adulthood stage. Here at the adulthood, individual at this involving more in problem solving and decision making. So because they need to solve the problem and need to make a decision, so use more intellectual capacity. And they at this age also they start to have a career, so they need intellectual capacity to deal with the problem, to manage the problem, manage the career. Responsibility stage, at this stage, individual after they learn intellectual competency become completed, become developed, they become independent thinker, where they use their own solutions for problems. If they experience problem with the family, with the personal life, with the community, they come up with their own ideas, their own solutions. So they are independent thinker. That's why it says responsibility, because they are becoming more responsible in their life toward the society, family, and so on. Executive stage is a middle adulthood stage. This is involved also a little bit higher in terms of responsibility. Through knowledge, they and experience, they be able to serve in the responsible positions in the organizations. That's why you see in the organization many of the individual at the higher rank coming from this age, middle adulthood. So reintegration stage is the older stage, the last stage. At this stage, individual accumulates more of the intellectual and skill. They have more experience, so they accumulate repertoire. That means they become the place where anyone want to refer to them. So they also become the reference point where the younger and go and see them. They become the mentor to the younger at this stage. So I put in this slide the how formation is used in the CE stages. Start with the acquisition stage and the achieving stage. This is the childhood and adolescence. Achieving stage, young adulthood. Executive stage, responsible stage is middle adulthood, and reintegrative stage is later adulthood. So there are four level of adulthood, childhood and adolescence, and three level of adulthood, and the acquisitions is this age childhood. And